Hi kids, this is Teacher May, your teacher for today. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the latest videos. Learning competency. Identify the key elements of a narrative, including characters, setting, plot, conflict, and theme. Learning objectives. Number 1, identify the elements of a story, such as characters, setting, plot, and conflict using story grammar. Number 2, identify the purpose and main idea of a story. Number 3, sequence the events in the story. Content, recognizing story elements. Before we start our new lesson, let's have a short review. Let's begin by looking at some pictures from well-known children's stories. Take a good look at each picture, and then I'll ask you a few questions about them. The first picture is Cinderella. Second picture is Beauty and the Beast. The third one is Rapunzel. Next one is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The last one is Sleeping Beauty. Let us answer the following questions. Are you familiar with these pictures? Who are the characters in the pictures? Can you give us a simple retell in one of the stories from the picture that you know? Since you've already seen the pictures, let's quickly go over the stories behind them. Cinderella is a kind-hearted young woman who is mistreated by her stepmother and stepsisters. With the help of her fairy godmother, she attends a royal ball where she captures the heart of the prince. Despite obstacles, including losing her glass slipper, Cinderella's goodness prevails and she finds her happily ever after. Beauty and the Beast tells the story of Belle, a smart and compassionate girl who finds herself imprisoned in the castle of a fearsome beast. As Belle gets to know the beast, she discovers his kindness and learns to see beyond his appearance. Their unlikely friendship blossoms into love, breaking a curse that had transformed the beast and his servants. Rapunzel is a young girl with long, magical hair who has been trapped in a tower by an evil witch since she was a baby. With the help of a brave young man named Flynn Rider, Rapunzel escapes her tower and discovers the world outside for the first time. Along the way, she learns about friendship, love, and the importance of following her dreams. Snow White is a beautiful princess who is forced to flee into the forest to escape her jealous stepmother, the evil queen. There, she befriends 7 dwarfs who protect her and help her stay safe. Despite the queen's attempts to harm her with a poisoned apple, Snow White ultimately finds true love and happiness with the prince. Sleeping Beauty, also known as Princess Aurora, is cursed by an evil fairy to fall into a deep sleep on her 16th birthday after pricking her finger on a spindle. Despite the efforts of the good fairies to protect her, the curse comes true. However, true love's kiss from a brave prince awakens Aurora from her slumber, breaking the curse and bringing joy to the kingdom. Alright class, let's remember that the main characters in these stories became heroes in their own right. They used their strength, courage, and determination to solve their problems, bringing peace and justice to their worlds. Let us answer these questions. Have you been a hero or heroine in your own way? In what way? Class, remember our discussion yesterday? We talked about how each of you has your own unique story of becoming heroes and heroines in your own ways, just like the pictures, which have their own stories to tell. You all have shown strength, courage, and determination in solving your problems and creating your own paths to success. Let's see how these stories connect to your own experiences. Let's have an activity. Build me. Let's get into 4 groups. I'll give you each group an envelope with puzzle pieces of a portrait of our Philippine hero, Jose P. Rizal. You have 3 minutes to put the puzzle together. Ready? Let's see which group can complete it first. Afterward, we'll talk about the activity and what we learned from it. Now, let's discuss it. Here are some questions for you. Who is the person in the puzzle? What did he do for our country? Where can you see him? From the activity, do you think the whole picture will be complete if one piece of the puzzle is missing? Why or why not? Now, let's connect this to our lesson. Just like how the puzzle pieces came together to form a complete picture of Jose P. Rizal, every story you read has different parts or components that make it whole. This week, we're going to learn about these different elements of a short story. We'll explore things like the characters, setting, plot, conflict, and theme. Understanding these elements will help you appreciate and analyze stories better. Let us unlock your vocabulary. Match the concepts in column A and with the descriptions in column B. Identify the word or phrase being described. Write the letter of the correct answer to the blank provided. Elements of a short story. Now that we've covered the basic concepts and terms related to the elements of a short story, let's start by defining what a short story is. A short story is a made-up story that is not as long as a whole book, like a novel. Short stories are usually between 5 and 60 pages or more depending on the formatting, so you can read them in one sitting. They often focus on just one thing that happens, and they usually have only one or two characters. It consists of different elements generally as characters, plot, conflict, setting, and theme. Character refers to the people, animals, or creatures in a story. They are the individuals who drive the action of the story and with whom readers identify. Characters have different personalities, traits, and roles within the narrative. They can be protagonists, main characters, antagonists, opposing characters, or supporting characters who help move the story along. Depending on how you see it, a character can be classified as either round or flat, dynamic or static, a protagonist or an antagonist. For a short story, well-rounded and dynamic characters will be your strength. The easiest way to write interesting characters is to make sure that they have a flow. Always keep in mind that in any story, perfect characters fall flat. Setting encompasses the time and place in which a story unfolds. It includes details about the environment, geography, historical period, and cultural context that provide the backdrop for the events of the narrative. The setting helps to establish the mood or atmosphere of the story and can influence the actions and the experiences of the characters. The plot refers to the sequence of events that make up the storyline of a narrative. It includes the exposition, introduction of characters and setting, rising action, events leading to the main conflict, climax, highest point of tension or turning point, falling action, events following the climax, and resolution, outcome, or conclusion. The plot drives the story forward and keeps readers engaged as they follow the character's journey. For batch of 2023, writers used the plot to map out their story before beginning their writing process. For fiction writing, this serves as a creative outline. So, an understanding of the plot is crucial to craft a compelling narrative and make it impactful. The sequence of events in a plot is tied to the central conflict in a story. The plot develops as the protagonist struggles with their given problem, finds a solution, and eventually accepts the results. Batch of 2023 identified 6 succinct stages of a plot. Number 1, exposition, an introduction of characters, setting, and conflict, providing all the necessary background information. Number 2, inciting incident, the incident that leads the main character to conflict and begins the plot. Number 3, rising action. The conflict develops and takes on newer, more complicated incidents leading to the climax. Number 4, climax. The conflict reaches a peak which then leads to a change in the course of events, giving the reader a new understanding of the story either through an event or an insight. Number 5, falling action. The conflict gets resolved and the action slows down. Number 6, resolution. The conflict ends, leaving the reader fulfilled. Conflict is the central struggle or problem that propels the plot forward and creates tension in the story. It can be internal, a character's inner struggle, or external, a conflict between characters or with an outside force. Common types of conflict include person versus person, person versus self, person versus society, and person versus nature. Resolving the conflict is often essential to the development of characters and the resolution of the story. Theme is the underlying message, lesson, or moral that the author conveys through the story. It reflects the deeper meaning or purpose behind the events and characters' experiences. Themes can explore universal concepts such as love, friendship, courage, justice, or betrayal. They provide insight into human nature and the world around us, prompting readers to reflect on their own lives and values. Themes may be explicit or implicit and can vary based on interpretation. Let's have an activity. Identify me. Instructions: arrange the pool of words to the columns where they belong. Now, let's put what we've learned into practice. You'll each read a story and then answer some guide questions to help you identify the different elements we've discussed. Hello, the Hero by Rocky James Guevara Sarasua. There is a small barangay situated between the rolling hills of Quirino Province in Region 2 Cagayan Valley, where an intuitive and courageous young boy named Elo lived. Elo was in grade 5 and he had always dreamt of becoming a hero like Captain Barbell, Elastic Man, Superman, and Spider-Man, which he has seen in many TV shows and films. After a half-day class due to extreme heat, while playing near a bubbling river just near their house, Elo heard cries for help. Rushing towards the sound, he discovered that a Kalding goat had fallen into the Carayan River and was struggling to stay afloat. Elo jumped into action. He remembered his tatay Ronnie teaching him about swimming in the river, and he carefully paddled into the water. Despite the water currents, Elo managed to reach the goat's neck and embraced it up in his arms. He saw the mother goat and its siblings just across the river, seemingly crying for help while looking into the baby goat that was drowning. But just as he turned to swim back to shore, he realized that the current had grown even stronger, and he was being pulled away from safety. He became quite nervous due to strong water currents. But Elo continued his heroic act by paddling near the river bank. Determined enough to save the little goat, Elo struggled against the water current, moving his way back to the safety of the river bank. It was a difficult experience for Elo. But finally, with one last spurt of effort, he reached the shallow waters and pulled himself and the baby goat to safety. His kabarangayans or villagers, who had gathered upon hearing the commotion, went to help as Elo was emerging from the water, dripping wet but triumphant. They admired his bravery and quick thinking, and Elo felt a warm glow of pride in his chest. After saving the little goat from drowning, Elo was viewed by his kabarangayans as little child hero of their small village. Even his friends look up to him for his bravery. He has clearly shown that even a child could perform acts of bravery and kindness. And his story inspired others to be courageous in the face of challenges. And as for the goat, it became Elo's faithful companion, a constant reminder of the day when a grade 5 boy became a real hero of his own way. Let us answer the following questions. What is the story all about? The story is about a young boy named Elo who saves a goat from drowning in a river, demonstrating bravery and quick thinking. Who is the main character of the story? How do you describe the main character based on his portrayal in the story? The main character is Elo. He is intuitive, courageous, and determined as shown by his actions in saving the goat despite the strong river currents. Where does the main character live? How do you describe their place? Elo lives in a small barangay in Quirino Province, Region 2, Cagayan Valley. The place is described as having rolling hills and a bubbling river, indicating a rural and natural setting. What did the main character of the story save? Elo saved a baby goat that had fallen into the river and was struggling to stay afloat. If you were the main character, would you also do the same? Why or why not? If I were the main character, I would also try to save the goat because helping others in need, whether human or animal, is an important and compassionate act. What is the main idea or main lesson you learned from the story? The main lesson is that bravery and kindness can come from anyone, regardless of age. Even a child can perform heroic acts and inspire others. Do you know someone who is as heroic as the main character? Who is that person and how did he or she become heroic? Yes, I know someone who is heroic. How can you become a hero or heroine of your own? You can become a hero by being courageous, helping others in need, and standing up for what is right, even in difficult situations. Small acts of kindness and bravery can make a big difference. Let's have an activity. From our discussions and the story we went over, you can now identify the basic elements of a short story. Activity, arrange me. Instructions, the events of the story Elo the Hero is presented in the next page but in jumbled way. Your task is to arrange the events accordingly. Now that we've sequenced the events in the story, it's time to translate the entire story and its elements into a story grammar using advanced organizers. This will help you visualize and understand the structure of the story even better. Let's have another activity, story grammar. Instructions based on the story Hello the Hero. Fill out the graphic organizer below. For learners' takeaways, fill out the What I Have Learned journal. Everybody answer the multiple choice quiz. Instructions: provide the letter of the correct answer in your respective answer sheets.